We're on this big adventure the whole time. We're trying to find out new things. It's a bit like Christopher Columbus. I often use that analogy when the mist suddenly clears and there's the new world. That in itself is thrilling. And of course, if you're a scientist, to discover something new is a huge thrill. But what's even more thrilling is that discovery gives rise to a new treatment for a disease, because then you're really helping humans as well.
The Biosciences Development will help us achieve our aspirations to be a world leader in key domains of research. We have major focuses around neuroscience, around immunology, around cancer, and around molecular medicine. So bringing these together under one roof in fit-for-purpose accommodation is critical for the college. You can only deliver when you're enabled with enabling tools.
This is a really unique building, and it's unique in the Irish context, and it's relatively unique in international terms. The real key element is this capacity to translate. It's the presence of all of the technologies that anybody really would need to take a concept through to fruition and develop a new therapeutic entity or a new drug for a disease. And I think in a way it gives us the capacity to be even more ambitious than we have been to date, because although we've generated a huge amount of knowledge about disease, and we have indeed in fact generated some new ways of treating disease, this allows us to perhaps address some of the big issues in medicine and say we can make a difference to that.
My work in the anti-cancer area, I think working in this new building will facilitate much better to move these compounds that we are preparing more near to clinical use. In a first step, we are testing our compounds in collaboration with Daniela's sister in the biochemistry department, and we will be in the same building, so it will be much easier for us to work together to test our compounds. That will be kind of our first step towards the clinic. And then if the medical doctors are there, then they will be able to assess toxicities, to start moving, or with the pharmacy group, exactly the same. We will be able to move little by little to translate the compound into something that will be potentially being used in the clinic.
I'm an immunologist, which means I'm very interested in how the body fights infections. And of course, the immune system is this wonderful system which keeps us all alive effectively, because it fights viruses, bacteria, fungi, and does a wonderful job. Without the immune system, none of us would be here, and we wouldn't even have evolved probably, because it's always been a war against these various microbes. And of course, when it goes wrong, you get horrible diseases, and we've got a big interest in things like malaria, TB, loads of different infectious diseases that really afflict humanity. So we're trying to find out more about the immune system to understand those diseases.
It's important that we put the biomedical sciences building in the context of the bigger picture of aging. And in trying to understand what constitutes the aging process, we work from basic sciences right through to translational research. So what are the cellular abnormalities that constitute aging or make cells more vulnerable to aging, through to what drugs might influence those processes, through to how we can actually implement clinical trials to test those drugs, through to how we can actually engage with policymakers to implement changes in prescriptions based on the drugs or technologies developed as a result of the earlier fundamental basic sciences work which would have been taking place in the biomedical sciences structure.
The science is all about the successful interactions and all about the collaborations, exchange of views, partnership and joint work. And the biosciences buildings, the building that will bring together so many of our colleagues with the diverse but very complementary expertise, would enable us again to grow and explore and amplify, synergize what we do.
Having state-of-the-art labs will make it much more attractive for us to set up collaborations to attract young researchers to come in and to generally up our game from where we are right now.
I think with this new bioscience development, working in Ireland long term is going to be a real possibility for people who've got PhDs now, because the development is going to upscale and upgrade our facilities and be a real competitor on the international market to draw people in here as well.
I actually think it is a great idea for medical students to be mixing with researchers. I think at the moment, especially the younger years, the first and second years, the preclinical, they don't really understand what research involves, and being around other researchers would be great. Make it look a bit more real and a little bit more within reach, because I know as a first year I just thought it was something that incredibly clever people did and I would never be up to it. But I've since done some, and really, like, anybody can get involved.
The quality of the pharmaceutical industry has improved in Ireland from 25 years ago to being an industry that primarily just manufactured the bulk pharmaceutical agents to an industry today which has significant amount of research and development and high-tech biotechnology facilities located here. And I think the pool of talent is starting to address the needs of that industry base. It could be better. In many cases, people still need to travel abroad and gain the requisite skills before they can return. And there still is a need for industry here to bring in talent that wasn't trained within the Irish system. And so there's still an unfulfilled need. And I would hope the new Biosciences building will address some of that need.
In bioengineering, we've had 3 spin-out companies alone in 2010, and we can see that number increasing. And that's really come about because of clinicians that we're working with who come to us with ideas of problems that they'd like to have solved, working together with the bioengineers to be able to develop new technologies, new solutions for both surgical as well as diagnostic equipment. So we can see that area expanding enormously in this new Biosciences building, which could be very important in terms of providing a revenue stream to continue fundamental research in some of the research areas.
Since Trinity was founded in 1592, I think one of the hallmarks of its teaching and education has been the multidisciplinary aspect to its research and teaching. We've always managed to keep academics from different disciplines working together. And I think this has been as a result of the quite tight campus that we have in the city centre. I see what the Biosciences building is doing is, in a way, reinventing that for the 21st century.